What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to channel Musu Gamer, and today I want to talk to you about a balance formation potentially not working for Qin Shi Huang. And the reason why I'm making this video is, for one, I actually got a comment, if you can see here. Let's just go ahead and jump right into the comment section of this video right here. And according to the Prince 92, who sent me a comment 6 hours ago, they say balance inscription doesn't work on Qin Shi Huang. Do you know why? And actually, this is not the first time that I heard about this. Throughout yesterday, there were multiple people who actually reached out to me saying, hey, like, the balance inscription on Qin Shi Huang does not work. And I was wondering, that's strange. But then again, I gave it a little bit of thought, and then all the thoughts that I spread around different videos came together and kind of realized that it makes sense that it doesn't really work. And in this video, I'm going to actually talk to you about why that's the case. So if you look at the balanced inscription first, before anything else, I'm sorry I exited this, but if you look at the balanced inscription right here, it says increases the normal damage resistance of the wielder's troop by 3.5%. So that top first line does not really change because that is unconditional. It doesn't have any conditions. But the second part of this skill is actually the part that doesn't really work on Qin Shi Huang, I'm assuming. And it says, upon reaching 80% rage, their troop deals 8% more skill damage for next 3 seconds with cooldown of 5 seconds. So when you read that, you're kind of feeling like, okay, well, when you use Qin Shi Huang on the field, and let's just go ahead and try to kill a barb here, you might be really confused because when you fight something on the field, Qin Shi Huang does seem to have this rage bar. Now let's just go ahead and wait until he actually starts hitting. Yeah, he does have this like rage bar that pops up, that gets filled, like any other normal commander would do in Rise of Kingdoms. And you're like, well, then it should work, right? But in reality, that doesn't really work like that, right? And the reason for that, and if my hypotheses are true, I think I can show you in this format, like how that rage bar is actually working for Qin Shi Huang. So in Qin Shi Huang, unlike all the other commanders, if he's used as primary commander, Qin Shi Huang actually has 2 different rage bars. One of them is rage consume bar, which is what he uses to basically use his active skill. And then 2 is actually the actual rage bar that he has hidden from you. It is not visible from you when you're actually looking at his kit. And that is actually very easily seenable if you use him as secondary commander. So let's see if we use Zhuge Liang and Qin Shi Huang. You'll be able to see that his rage bar hardly fills at all. See, I'm using Zhuge Liang as primary. You can see that his rage bar doesn't get filled at all. This is because Qin Shi Huang's kit basically uses most of the rage bar that is actually getting filled during the turn to activate his active skill and then, trigger his third skill and the second skill at the same time. And you can see that it took a while for Zhuge Liang to actually use his active skill, right? That is because his actually hidden rage bar that you don't see when you use him as primary, use Qin Shi Huang as primary, does not get filled until very, very late into your combat. And it may not get filled at all if you're actually getting attacked by other commanders. And this 4th skill actually kicks in and then uses more rage than what you're seeing right there. So you saw that rage bar of this combo with Zhuge Liang primary and then Qin Shi Huang secondary. If you look at the battle log, it takes a whole lot of while until Zhuge Liang actually uses his active skill. You can see that it takes 30 turns for Zhuge Liang to use the burning Xinye Whereas before that, all these skills are actually just all these damage are actually done by what's this called, the Qin Shi Huang skills. And this right here, you see that it has big damage and turn 11. That's actually not the active skill of Zhuge Liang, but it's actually the one that the Marquis of Zhongyu actually triggering in, which does 6,000 damage. So let me actually illustrate this in a paint. So this is a paint. Let's see if I can get Qin Shi Huang in here for visibility. I'm sorry, this is not really that well represented, but there is 2 bars when you're using Qin Shi Huang as primary, and then one of them is Rage bar. Oh, this is too large. And that is too small. Okay, that is Rage bar, the normal Rage bar. And then the other, oh no. The other is Rage Consumed bar. Well, actually, let's just make this Rage bar. And then let's just make this Rage Consume bar. Because you're seeing the Rage Consume bar more or less when you're actually looking at him as a primary commander, right? So you have Rage Consume bar and then Rage bar. When you first start combat after 3 seconds, you actually gain 500 rage from his force skill, but you don't see that when you enter combat with Qin Shi Huang, because that's not actually the rage bar that you're seeing. You're looking at the rage consume bar, right? So what happens is that you start off with 50% of the rage field. That is not going as well as how I like to be. Okay, so 50% of the rage field. And then as each turn takes place, you use a big portion of the rage, and then you gain back a little bit. Big portion of the rage, gain back a little bit. A big portion of the rage, gain back a little bit. And what you saw from Zhuge Liang is that this takes 30 turns to fill out. So your actual rage bar goes up by 3%, more or less, per turn. Whereas rage consume bar goes up dramatically as you use, let's go back, as you use your second skill, which will give you 100 rage per second, right? You're using 100 rage every single turn whenever you do a basic attack based on this Iron Pierces Bronze skill. You're also using 20, if expertise, 25 rage per each target that you're hitting. So if you're hitting 5 targets, that you're gonna be basically using 125. In fact, you're actually hitting 6 targets. You're hitting the main target as well. So it uses like 250 rage per second. 250 rage fits per second. So rage consume bar will just go up and up and up and up, and after whatever the turn that it takes for you to use that, it basically uses your active skill, right? Also at the same time, if you get hit by the enemy, although it will use the rage from the rage consumed portion of this skill, it will actually trigger, it will make sure that your rage consumed bar actually goes up as well, right? This uses your rage. So this skill, the fourth skill right here, uses the rage, but then again, it actually triggers the rage consume bar too. So if you look at it, so it will actually make the rage bar go down, but then rage consume bar will go even further up. But this is what you're seeing when you're using him as primary. This is what you're seeing when you're, this is what triggers the balance inscription when you're actually trying to get that 8% skill damage from reaching 80%, right? So as a matter of fact then, if you're actually fighting on the field and you're having this rage bar get reduced even further by getting hit by enemy skills right here, it is likely that your balance, let's see, yeah, your balance inscription will not trigger almost at all because it needs you to reach 80% rage. And again, without getting hit by any active skills that are more than 300 damage factor or so, this is how the rage bar looks like. And because Zhuge Liang is a commander that uses actual rage bar, you're seeing the actual rage bar on Zhuge Liang if you use Qin Shi Huang as secondary, right? So this is what you're seeing. But if you use, well, ironically enough, if you use Zhuge Liang as secondary though, I guess the rage bar is separate. And you can see how slow this rage bar is filling. And any extra rage consumption trigger from the force skill will basically prevent this from filling at all. So in fact, if you have secondary commander like Zhuge Liang, there will be a secondary rage bar that is for secondary commander, and then that gets filled separately. So when you use Zhuge Liang as secondary commander, this rage bar gets filled up regardless of what you're doing with the consume rage here, with primary, with Qin Shi Huang. So hence, it allows you to trigger Zhuge Liang's active skill when you use Zhuge Liang as secondary commander. So this was kind of explained in my other video where I actually do go over why you should not use Zhuge Liang, the Qin Shi Huang as secondary, because it just counterworks with the primary commander's rage. And it looks like Zhuge Liang's active skills and the passive skills only consumes the rage of the primary commander. And that's why, in a nutshell, the legendary inscription for wedge formation, which is balance formation, balance inscription, does not work for Qin Shi Huang in Rise of Kingdoms. All right. I'm sorry I mumbled a little bit, and I hope you guys actually enjoyed my awesome graphics here. And I hope this was actually helpful for you to understand a little bit about why balance inscription does not work with Qin Shi Huang. My apologies for really, really bad drawing, but hey, I think this helped. The visual aid is always helpful. So yeah, so I hope you guys actually enjoyed this video and found this video helpful. If you guys did like this video, please go ahead and drop a subscribe and thumbs up to the channel. And also feel free to join the Discord and talk about anything related to Rise of Kingdoms with me. I do go on live stream as often as I try to make it possible. So if you want to go and enjoy my live stream, feel free to do so. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. All right, peace.